Hello everyone. We are going to go ahead and create some databases in this lesson, and we're going to learn what the file location is for databases and also how to delete databases. So let's go ahead and start SQL Server Management Studio and connect to our local installation of SQL Server. So when you get the logon screen, just go ahead and click connect. We are using Windows authentication, as you recall. So because we're logged into our Windows machine with the account that actually installed SQL Server, we now have access. So once we're connected, we're going to go to the databases node and expand it. And over here, I'm going to right click the database node and choose new database. Over here, we're going to give this a name. I'm going to call it engineering. And down below, let's take a look at the options that we have. We have the database files down here. As you can see, there is an actual database file, which is listed over here as a primary under a primary file group. There's also a log file, and we can actually click on these little ellipses here, and it tells you that the initial size of this database is 64 megabytes. Of course, we could change that. And we can actually have the maximum file size set over here, right now set to unlimited. And what that means is that as you add data to this database, it's going to keep on growing. If it goes beyond 64 megabytes, it will increase it automatically. As you can see, it says enable auto growth, so you don't run into problems of your database is out of space. You could limit it to a particular size. I'm not going to do that. We also have the log file. And what is this log file anyhow? Well, SQL Server is a transactional database management system, which means that before it does any operation, such as a write or operation or an update operation of any kind or deletion, it creates a log of that event beforehand. Then it proceeds with that operation. Once the operation has been successful, the log is checked that the operation was successful. This is extremely useful, and we'll take a look at transactions later in this course. It's useful because if during your process, say an update process or a writing process, the system crashes, you lose power, something happens, when the machine comes back up, when the server comes back up, it actually runs through the log files and realizes that there was a particular entry that was never completed. So it rolls the database back to a well and a good and known state. And that's what we talked about integrity before. This is one of the features that SQL Server has. So this log file is very important. Again, as you can see, this is starting at 64 megabytes and it's going to automatically grow. If I scroll over a little bit, you can see where it's actually storing the data in that particular location. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And the database is created. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at it in the location that it is. So I'm going to go to this PC, local disk, program files, Microsoft SQL Server. Down here it says MS SQL 15, MS SQL Server, which was the instance name that we created during the installation, MS SQL. And the two important folders right here, there's a data folder. You can see that engineering and the engineering log have been created. And they were created just today, just a minute ago. And then we also have this backup folder, which we'll take a look at in another video, where if you create a backup of a database by default, it puts it in here. Okay, so we have our database created. We could expand it and create tables, views, etc. We have a database. How do we get rid of this? Well, I can just right click it, and you can see there is the option of delete down here. I'm going to select delete. Are you sure you want to do this? I'm going to click OK, and it's gone. At this point, that database is destroyed. There is no way to bring it back. There is no Control Z, Command Z, anything like that to bring it back. Keep in mind that occasionally when you do this operation, you might get an error message that says it couldn't delete it. And that's usually when the database is open and doing something. So you couldn't just delete it like that. I do like to point out that while I just did this very quickly, Deleting a database is an extremely rare situation. I've never heard of one myself. I've never seen one done myself in production. So just keep that in mind, that while we're experimenting here in production, you really don't delete databases. Okay, I thank you for being a great audience. And my usual closing, please, internet is where it is because people are generous and share. So please go ahead and share your knowledge too, put something back. And if you enjoyed this video and other videos like it, please share them with your friends. Thank you for watching.